A massive new bill just passed the House that could change everything about your taxes, Social Security, and even your grocery budget. And most people have no idea what's coming. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly how Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill will impact your wallet. Whether you're a senior on a fixed income, a working parent struggling with rising costs, or anyone who depends on government programs like Medicare and SNAP. I'll show you the specific dollar amounts you could save or lose, which programs are getting cut, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to prepare for these changes before they hit your bank account. Welcome to Financial Area, where we decode complex financial news so you can make smarter money decisions. If this kind of practical financial insight helps you, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos that put money back in your pocket. Let's start with the changes that could put immediate cash back in your pocket, or take it away. The centerpiece of this bill is a brand new tax deduction specifically designed for seniors. If you're 65 or older and earning less than $75,000 a year, you can now claim an additional $4,000 standard tax deduction. That's real money we're talking about here. Let me put this in perspective. If you're a single senior earning $50,000 annually, this deduction could save you anywhere from $440 to $880 in federal taxes, depending on your tax bracket. For married couples filing jointly, this deduction doubles to $8,000. A retired couple earning $60,000 combined could see tax savings of up to $1,760 per year. That's nearly $150 extra in your pocket every month. But here's what's interesting. This senior deduction is part of a much larger tax strategy. The bill makes all of the 2017 Trump tax cuts permanent. Remember those? They were set to expire, but now they're locked in indefinitely. This includes the reduced corporate tax rate, which stays at 21% instead of jumping back up to 35%. There's also a complete game changer for service workers. Tips will no longer be taxed at the federal level. If you're a server, bartender, hairstylist, or anyone else who relies on tips, this could be huge. Let's say you earn $3,000 in tips annually. You could save $300 to $720 in federal taxes. The same applies to some overtime pay, which will also be exempt from federal taxation. Now, Social Security recipients were hoping for complete tax elimination on their benefits, but that didn't happen. Instead, there's a compromise. Social Security benefits will still be taxed, but there will be new deductions available to offset some of that burden. The exact details are still being worked out, but early estimates suggest this could reduce the tax load for middle-income seniors by $200 to $500 annually. But here's where things get complicated and expensive. While taxes might be going down for some people, the programs millions of Americans depend on are facing serious cuts. Medicare is staring down the barrel of $500 billion in cuts over the next decade. Let me be clear about what this means for you. These aren't cuts to your Medicare benefits directly. You'll still have Part A hospital coverage and Part B medical coverage, but the government will be paying doctors, hospitals, and other providers significantly less for treating Medicare patients. When providers get paid less, they have three options: see fewer Medicare patients, reduce services, or pass costs on to patients. We're already seeing this in some areas. Doctors are limiting the number of Medicare patients they accept because the reimbursement rates are too low to cover their costs. With these additional cuts, expect longer wait times for appointments, fewer specialists accepting Medicare, and higher out-of-pocket costs for things that used to be fully covered. If you're on Medicare or approaching Medicare age, start researching now. Find out which doctors and specialists in your area accept Medicare patients and get established with them before these changes take full effect. Consider a Medicare supplement plan if you don't already have one, because you might need it to cover gaps that emerge from these cuts. The changes to Medicaid are even more dramatic. The bill introduces work requirements for childless adults on Medicaid. You'll need to prove you're working at least 80 hours per month, or you'll lose your coverage. This affects approximately 9 million people across the country. Now, supporters argue this encourages employment and reduces dependency. Critics point out that many people on Medicaid work irregular hours, seasonal jobs, or are caregivers for family members. The 80-hour requirement doesn't account for these realities. If you're currently on Medicaid and don't have children, start documenting your work hours now. Keep pay stubs, work schedules, and any employment verification you can get your hands on. Food assistance is also changing in ways that could impact millions of families. SNAP benefits, formerly known as food stamps, are getting new work requirements that extend to parents with young children. Previously, parents were often exempt from work requirements. Now, even if you have kids under 6, you might need to prove employment or participation in job training programs. The bill also shifts more of the SNAP program cost to individual states. States that can't or won't pick up the additional funding might see their SNAP programs reduced or eliminated entirely. This is particularly concerning for rural states and areas with limited job opportunities. If you receive SNAP benefits, contact your state's Department of Social Services to understand how these changes will be implemented in your area. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, immigration enforcement. The bill allocates $175 billion for border security and immigration enforcement over the next 5 years. This includes funding for new detention facilities, hiring thousands of additional Border Patrol agents, and expanding immigration courts. From a purely economic standpoint, this represents a massive shift in government spending priorities. That's $175 billion that could have gone to infrastructure, education, or debt reduction. Instead, it's going toward enforcement. This will likely create jobs in border states and communities where these facilities are built, but it also represents a significant ongoing expense for taxpayers. The bill also includes some changes that legal experts are calling concerning. Federal courts will have new limitations on their ability to enforce certain types of rulings, particularly those related to immigration and some civil rights cases. This is a complex constitutional issue, but the practical effect could be that federal court orders carry less weight in some situations. Finally, let's address the $4 trillion debt ceiling increase. Yes, you heard that right, $4 trillion. This prevents the government from defaulting on its obligations, which would be catastrophic for the economy. Government default would likely crash the stock market, spike interest rates, and potentially trigger a recession. However, this increase also means the national debt will continue growing. We're now looking at a national debt that could exceed $40 trillion within the next few years. For context, that's roughly $120,000 of debt for every person in America, including children. Higher national debt typically leads to higher interest payments, which means less money available for other government programs. It can also lead to inflation and higher taxes down the road. If you're planning for retirement or making long-term financial decisions, factor in the possibility of higher taxes and reduced government services in the future. So, what should you do with all this information? First, if you're a senior, make sure you understand the new tax deduction and how to claim it. Talk to a tax professional if necessary. The money you save could more than pay for their fee. If you're on Medicare, Medicaid, or SNAP benefits, start preparing now. Find backup options. Understand your state's specific implementation of these changes and keep detailed records of your employment or health status. For everyone else, this bill represents a fundamental shift in government priorities. Lower taxes for some, reduced spending on social programs, and massive increases in immigration enforcement spending. Whether you see this as positive or negative probably depends on your political views, but the financial impacts are real regardless of your politics. The most important thing you can do is stay informed. These changes will roll out over the next several months and years. Some will take effect immediately. Others won't be fully implemented until 2026 or later. Don't wait until the last minute to understand how they affect you. That's a wrap on today's breakdown of Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. The financial landscape is changing rapidly, and staying informed is your best protection. If this video helped you understand these complex changes, smash that like button and subscribe to Financial Area for more financial news that actually affects your wallet. What aspect of this bill concerns you most? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. Until next time, keep making smart money decisions.